If you have children and are looking for a family-friendly store, look no further than Aw Yeah Comics. Visit one of their 3 locations, Harrison, New York, Muncie, Indiana, or Skokie, Illinois, and check out awyeahcomics.com for more. Their name says exactly how they feel about it. Aw yeah! Fat Moose Comics, established in 1982, is New Jersey's best and oldest comic book store. Moose has that rare, old-school comic shop feel and camaraderie, yet also remains a welcoming space for new fans. Visit them in Whippany or reach out via the Fat Moose Comics Facebook page. My love of the TV series Smallville is well documented, and there's one rewatch podcast that's always at the top of my queue. Zach Moore's Always Hold On to Smallville, which continues with more great Smallville and Superman talk now that their series rewatch has concluded. Listen wherever you get podcasts. Single Bound is a new podcast hosted by married couple Amy and Logan as they review single issues of comics. And if the title makes you think of Superman, you're not alone, as the Man of Steel is a regular topic of discussion. Listen and subscribe to Single Bound on Spotify and YouTube. Ever wonder what would happen if a person who knew barely anything about comics decided to absorb hundreds of Superman stories? Robbo is that kind of person, and that's exactly what he's doing on a new show called This Podcast Will Never Die. Listen and subscribe today. Step into the refraction with Drunken Avenger #1, The Volunteer, an indie comic by Rick Reason that turns the tropes upside down. 4 men died in 9 seconds. John Stevens survived, but survival has a price. Follow @Drunken Avenger on social media for project updates and previews. In the 1950s, George Reeves embodied the Man of Steel in Superman's first television adaptation, from its gritty black and white beginnings to the kid-friendly color years. To this day, an entire generation reveres George as their Superman, while for others, the show remains an overlooked, underrated chapter in the character's history. On this podcast, we bring everyone together as we break down each episode of Adventures of Superman, examining it within the context of the series itself, as well as the larger Superman mythology. Welcome to another exciting episode in the Adventures of Superman. I'm your host, Anthony Desiato. Joining me to discuss Season 6, Episode 10, 3-in-1, is returning guest Rich Roney. Welcome back to Season 6.
Thank you. It's been a while. I know that we discussed, Divide and Conquer and the Mysterious Cube.
But yeah, we did those back-to-back episodes with
right.
new powers.
And then you covered a number of other things with some other folks. Now, I'm looking forward to this 3-in-1. I do remember this as a child, so I'm eager to delve into this.
In this one, 3 circus performers work together to mimic Superman's powers and frame him. This aired on April 7th, 1958, written by Wilton Schiller and Whitney Ellsworth, directed by Lou Landers. We have Sid Tomac as Harmon the Great, Rick Vallon as Pellini the Human Fly, Buddy Bear as Atlas the Strongman, and Craig Duncan as Tex Dawson. I feel like this is a sleeper episode, like a sleeper hit. I really liked this one. I feel like this doesn't necessarily get the glory of a Divide and Conquer or a Mysterious Cube in larger discussions, but I feel like this was a solid one, man.
Interesting.
Did you not feel as
I did not
hot about it?
I didn't.
I thought this was a clever premise, and I really liked the nighttime setting of so much of the proceedings, including that final showdown with the nighttime skyline behind them, and they're on the roof. It was moody in a way that the show typically isn't.
Interesting.
And yeah, just this hook of these 3 circus performers forming one quote unquote Superman. I thought it was a cool hook, and I really like this one.
One thing before we dig into it, Bud Bear, his brother, Max Bear, was a famous, and Bud Bear was also a boxer, but his brother, Art Bear, or Max Bear, was a famous heavyweight in the 1930s. And his son was in the Beverly Hillbillies. He played Jethro. So Jethro, his uncle is Atlas, and his father was Max Bear Sr., who was both Max and Bud were famous heavyweights in the 1930s.
No, I was listening intently while you were saying that, because then that rang a bell. Max Baer, was he the fighter in Cinderella Man?
I think, oh, no. Cinderella Man was someone who worked on, I think, one of the bridges in New York. I don't think it was one of the Bears. Russell Crowe played the guy, I think.
Yeah, he played James Braddock, right? There's a real life boxer, but I thought his opponent was.
Oh, I think you're right.
Bear.
I think you're right. I think you may be right.
Okay, now I need to know. Give me a second here.
Take your time. I'm intrigued by this too, but I know that Max Baer was the more famous,
so
the more famous of the brothers.
That's why it rang a bell as you were saying it. So yeah, the Ron Howard directed film starring Russell Crowe, Cinderella Man, which I love, a big fan of that movie.
Agree.
Yeah, so Russell Crowe played James Braddock, and then Craig Bierko played Max Baer.
Interesting.
Okay, thank you.
Cool.
Very cool.
Cool.
Okay. At the DP, Tex Dawson discusses his plight with the crew. His circus was robbed and will be forced to close in 1 week. Nothing could be worse in the world of this show than a circus closing.
I know. And
the forlorn looks on their faces. It's like, all right. It's not like you can't send the kids to camp now. That's a tragedy.
And Anthony, what is the setting for this discussion with Tex?
Perry's office.
Yes. Where else?
At the circus, we meet the culprits. Harmon the Great, an escape artist who can break out of or into anything, and Pellini, the human fly who can scale any building. They plan to target unguarded safes on high floors. Back at the planet, the circus criminals have pulled multiple jobs. And Henderson, as always, worries about Perry's headlines and pressure from the commissioner. You know, more and more with Henderson, I'm saying to myself, what's your primary concern? Keeping the streets safe or
public relations?
Or public relations?
I think we're going to land, listen, for season 6, it's the latter. What are those headlines from the planet saying about me? Am I an incompetent? The commissioner is going to have my lunch.
I mean, part of my language, really a little bit of a bitch in a lot of these episodes. Like, all he cares about is all the headlines. Well, why don't you catch the criminals?
Because you got Superman.
All right. Can you guys tell we're near the end of the series?
And
three left.
Let me interject.
Wait, save it for the finale.
No, okay. But you got to harken back to this. But you're right. I mean, if we'd noticed any theme in season 6, Henderson's always grousing and crying like a baby. Like, oh God, there's going to be another bad headline on this. The commissioner's going to call me on the carpet. Perry, can you lighten up with these critical headlines?
Yeah. Well, and part of the problem, I mean, like, Henderson, why are you at the planet, like standing around with them talking about the headlines? Anyway, during the next burglary, Superman interrupts and nabs Harmon, who feigns ignorance. At the jail, he claims he was walking, was grabbed, and was taken to the top floor. He promptly escapes the jail cell after Henderson and Superman leave, and he refuses to give his name or any identifying information. So they don't know who this guy is. Just that he's claiming, I don't know what happened. I found myself here.
Yeah. Really, a real throwback to Double Trouble and Fingerprints when Superman, wait a minute, I'm going to go over to Germany and figure out what's going on. No, I guess knowledge of fingerprints really didn't work in this episode.
That, and also, as you and I always joke about, this guy is just incredibly lucky that he's not dealing with season 1, Henderson and Clark, because they would have just been rolling up those sleeves and working them over.
Right. And quite frankly, the thing that irked me watching it as an adult was when Harmon the Great escapes. He's, okay, as you said, apparently he had amnesia.
Right.
He doesn't know how he got to the 17th floor when Superman apprehended him. He just goes into amnesia. I don't know what happened. He's put in the jail cell. He refuses to give his name, anything. But he must have the most magical index finger because he just puts it down on the lock. No hairpin, no tools in any fashion, but he's able to escape the jail. And oh, by the way, where were the police officers?
Yeah, I know, completely unguarded. I had that exact same thought where it's like, maybe we're asking for too much, but it would have been something if, like, I don't know, he reached into his shoe and then he pulls out something. But no, he's just using his finger. Next, Harmon and Pellini enlist the good-hearted but dim-witted Atlas, a.k.a. the world's strongest man, to join their detective agency after the circus closes.
Why? Because Superman is taking money away from widows and orphans. So they played to the trope of the simple, compassionate, big-hearted, strong man.
Yeah. We good men? We good boys? What does he say?
We good. He take from widow and children. I stop him.
Yeah, I liked him though in this episode, and obviously he plays a key role when we get to the climax here. But yeah, definitely well intentioned, but just easily misled. Yeah, they claim they've been hired to remove money from a safe and protect it. Now, look, where's the line between, hey, guy, you got to look, open your eyes and realize what's actually going on here? But fair enough. So they claim they've been hired to remove money from a safe to protect it, and they direct Atlas to bend the bars before they reconnect the alarm. Superman arrives, followed by Henderson, and in light of the bent bars, who seemingly only Superman would have been capable of bending them, and the missing money, Bill arrests Superman. Now, at this point in the episode, I was annoyed with Bill for taking Superman in, but I did like this next scene between the two of them.
You're going to have to
we're coming up here. But anything about this sequence before we get to the jail cell?
No, after you discuss the topic you got, I do want to interject with something, but I'm going to let you go first and then I'll jump in.
Okay. At the jail, Bill explains he doesn't really believe Superman is guilty, but it looks bad, and the arrest buys Bill some goodwill at work. Lois arrives to defend Superman, and the three of them hatch a plan to lure out the criminals with a fake story about a gold ball at the top of the flagpole of a new building. So, again, that scene at the safe when Superman shows up and the bars are bent and Bill's like, well, I got to take you in. Didn't love Bill in that moment here. And not the first or last, well, maybe the last time, and certainly not the first time in the series where it's looked bad for one of our main characters. And Bill's like, well, I gotta bring you in. And it's like, come on, clearly they would have garnered more goodwill and trust from you at this point. But then I like that scene between Bill and Superman where it's like, no, we're on the same page. We're going to figure this out. I like that.
I agree. At that point, when Superman's taken to jail, what disappointed me was this made me reminiscent of The Face and the Voice. And in that other episode, Superman had more anxiety and more fear, like, oh my God, am I sleepwalking? Am I doing this where I'm not conscious of it? So his anxiety and his fear that he was breaking the law and not being conscious of doing so, none of that. He's very calm here. He's smiling. He's having a good time. Don't worry, we'll work. He's, very confident things are going to work out. So I thought that was a missed opportunity. Because we discussed with great enthusiasm when he goes to the guy from I Dream of Jeannie and goes, now don't get crazy. Now you think I'm crazy,
Yeah. Okay. So I get where you're coming from on that. And clearly that aspect of The Face and the Voice, I think, really elevated that episode, that self-doubt. On the one hand, I wouldn't have needed them to go down that same road this time. And I don't know, maybe you can make an argument that they know, he knows he nabbed Harmon, even though he doesn't know who Harmon is, and he escaped the jail cell. So he knows
that gave him confidence.
He knows something's up.
Good point.
But
good point.
I do think there is another dimension here that could have been added, and I don't know exactly what. Like, one of the things that actually, especially for the whole setup of this, of 3 in 1, it's like there seems to be someone out there who can do the things that Superman can do. It's like, what if he wonders, like, is there someone else like me?
I thought about that too.
Like that actually could have been really, gee, Superman, are you sure you're the only one who left Krypton? Gee, Jim, I don't really know. Right. I always thought so. That could have been interesting.
Anthony, I thank you. I didn't, until you articulated it, I didn't reflect on that. But one thing that I look back at this TV show and the concurrent, both in the 1950s and the Silver Age, there were comic book stories where there was another superpowered being from another, there were 3 villains from Krypton. There were superheroes or superpowered beings from other planets. Lois had a romance with Future Man or something like that. There was never any notion whatsoever that there might be someone else with unique powers. And look at everything you taught me about Smallville. I mean,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I think that was a missed opportunity. Other than Gary Allen having some degree of powers, which were really not substantive.
Just invulnerability while he's unconscious. It's like, sure. Okay.
Well, you guys really gave it thought.
No, so I'm glad we're talking this out because it's like, by the way, I'm not saying that this episode should have had another Kryptonian in it, but I think it could and should have been something that Superman at least entertained the idea of it. But hand in hand with that, yeah, the show could have done one episode at some point where that actually does happen, like in the comics of the day.
Well said. I mean,
but here everything else could have been the same, right? Through our circus before, all that stuff I'm good with. But yeah, like if he had kind of wondered that. And then I think that could have been a cool kind of variation on what we saw in The Face and the Voice, where he's like, am I doing it? Am I sleepwalking? He's not worried about that now. But yeah, it's like, is there someone else like me out there?
That's a missed opportunity. And I commend you. I didn't think about that till you just raised the notion.
He could have, oh my God, he could have visited Martha or Sarah on the farm and said, hey, are you sure there was no one else in that rock? That mother never referred to or seen again.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Never saw her again. Never referenced again.
Even
that Joey episode when he's talking about all his knowledge of horses. Where did he learn all about horses? On a farm. You think that would have come up, but it didn't.
Boy, you are done with this series.
We're almost done. No, it's been a lot of fun. The criminals take the bait, but before Harmon can leave, Jimmy arrives to do a feature on what the circus performers will do next. Harmon tricks Jimmy into a straight jacket and trunk, which is perfectly in keeping for Jimmy. When Lois mentions Jimmy's article to Superman and Bill, they finally all put the pieces together and realize that the three performers are combining their abilities to imitate one Superman. And I like this trio here. I've had plenty of issues with, Lois and Henderson, but I like the three of them in this moment here of putting their heads together. It took three of them, just like it took the three circus performers. So we have symmetry here.
We have a symmetry.
I'm sure totally unintentional, but nice. I like this.
We have a yin and yang balance.
It's like, I like this trio. There was another episode we talked about, season 5, The Town That Wasn't, where you had Clark and Jimmy and Henderson on the road trip together investigating. Like, I like these different configurations. So yeah, I like that. I thought that was cool.
Oh, and I gotta come up with this. Was it the broken statues, right? Where Lois and Clark and Henderson and the chalk was breaking and they solved. Am I right? Is that the episode where he tried to do, wait, we got 3 cents. We got a key and,
Okay, so
was that the one? The chalk always broke?
The breaking chalk, it definitely was a season 1 episode. Off the top of my head, I can't remember if it was the statues one or different. It was the
statues. The stuff was in, they found.
Okay. Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, but this was a little more analytical, a little cerebral.
That was painful watching him write with that chalk.
And once again, to your point, nothing's going on the cutting room floor.
It's like,
one said, wait a minute, let me get another piece of chalk.
Do you think we should take it again, or do you think we should cut away or something? No. Just leave it. I'm like, all right.
Keep that film going.
Another moment that I like here at the end of the scene, Bill turns his back while Superman escapes. I like that because Bill's like, well, I could go get a court order to have you released. And Superman's like, no, but Bill, there's not enough time for that. And he's like, well, I can't give you the official okay, but I like that. That was cool to me. Back at the circus, Atlas hears Jimmy's pleas while the trunk is being lowered into the water, but Harmon convinces Atlas it's ventriloquism. They leave, but Superman arrives in time to rescue the cub reporter. I don't have much to say about the Jimmy piece of this, but it kind of
filler.
A little prolong the proceedings here. Atop the building, the nighttime skyline behind them. Again, I really like the look of this.
I'm sorry, I meant to say this and I forgot. To your point, and I forget, is this the 17th floor to the 30th floor? I forget how they did this. And either 30 floors and the top of the flagpole, and it's made of gold.
Yeah.
Made of gold. What I noticed is, and I brought this up before, these are the most clean-cut, elegantly dressed bad guys.
Yeah.
Because they're scaling up a 30-story building in their suits.
Listen, this is the 50s. You do everything in your suits. You scale buildings in your suit.
They are.
You wear a bathrobe in your
on
suit.
top. Yeah, on top. But they are the most elegantly dressed. I mean, even Atlas had a nice suit.
Listen, we're coming up on the perils of Superman, and we're going to have a moment where Clark's jacket is actually off, and I can't wait to talk about it because I was floored. You don't ever see it. But anyway, here we are back atop the building, the nighttime sky behind them. The burglars knock out a guard who turns out to be Superman.
Get out.
So no, not the biggest reveal, but I still, you know what? I thought they actually staged it well, where I feel like they weren't hammering you over the head with, hey, look, kids, it's Superman. It's like, he gets hit from behind, but then he stands up and you see the S under the jacket, the security
Takes
jacket.
the hat off.
Yeah, I like that. Superman explains to Atlas that he's been fooled. Superman is not a crook, and drops the gold ball near the feet of the other two below them, which I like. It's funny. So when I rewatched this last night, I didn't remember off the top of my head. And for a second, I'm like, I was misremembering. I'm like, wait, does he drop this on their heads? I was getting ready to complain about that. I'm like, they would be dead. But thankfully, that's not. By the way, on a related note, and this is more maybe for off mic, but I'll talk about it now. We had the recent episode with the Superman silver mine. Do you remember?
Oh, the guy had some metal plate in his
Do you
skull.
remember the end of that when Superman uses a magnet to pull the guy up a hill by the magnet in his head?
I don't.
Well, Zach and I had a great time talking about it. It's like, this guy would be dead. It's like this show is so worried about showing someone throwing a friggin' punch. And then meanwhile, you have someone literally, I mean, no joke, like dragged up a hill by the metal plate in their head.
That now it comes to me. Yeah.
I mean, that plate would have been ripped through to the top of his head.
Isn't that how he discerned
yes,
the bad guy from the true guy who was going to give the charity? Okay.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
So Superman drops the ball near their feet, not on their head, and then he flies Atlas down, and Atlas bonks their heads together. And I like that. I like that Atlas got to do the honors of the bonking.
And it helped him not be arrested, and it put him in good standing with the police.
And Jimmy gets the shot. We see the little flash. Everything came together nicely here. Finally, Tex explains that the circus is still in trouble, as it will take time for new acts to arrive. Clark volunteers Superman, but explains that he himself will be on vacation, so he won't be able to see the act, prompting Lois to wonder whether Clark is just jealous of Superman. Sure, Lois, all right. And that's our episode. But, I mean, anything we didn't talk about that you want to talk about before our rating?
Well, the only thing I'd like to, I got to think this, we're coming down to the wire. In
3 episodes left.
So one observation I've noticed and I'd have to think about it because you were so gracious. You spared me from season 5.
You did a bunch, but yeah, there were a few we spared you.
But I think I've done 6 or 7 of the last season. What I've noticed is there's absolutely no fights, no violence. Superman doesn't even do the karate chops that he used to do. Like the episode we discussed a few weeks ago, The Mysterious Cube. At the end, Superman just walks out with Lois and Jimmy. There's no fights, no fists. In this one, basically, like the one episode we saw, the 2 guys bumped together, knocked themselves out.
Yeah.
This one, Atlas knocks them together, but there's no violence. They really toned it down.
I didn't think they could tone it down anymore. But yeah, you're. I know. It's kind of funny. It's like, I actually kind of longed for the karate chop.
Yeah, the karate.
At the time, it's like, oh man, I wish he was throwing punches. Now it's like, all right, at least I would take a karate chop.
I would, and I thought the same thing. I would take a karate chop, right? Because what we saw, say, in No Holds Barred, when he's taking on 6 or 7 guys at once, and all of season 1, there was a lot more fisticuffs.
We love our fisticuffs. All right, on a scale of 1 to 5, Great Caesar's Ghost, how many are we giving 3 and 1?
2.
2. You know what? I'm going 4 on this one, which I know obviously you disagree with that. Maybe audience members do as well. This one really held together for me, and I like the moodiness. I like the nighttime setting. Obviously, had some frustrations with Bill, but he overcame them in his later sort of conspiring with Superman. I liked Atlas, this poor misguided dimwit who has a good heart.
A good heart.
Yeah. No, I think this is kind of a sleeper episode. It's like when we were doing, I guess it was season 4. Then we had that Phantom Ring episode with the guys who were turning invisible. Yeah. It's like, that's one, I don't know, that gets talked about a lot. Like, I think it gets overshadowed, but it was a really solid episode. I know you don't feel that way about this one, but I do.
Yeah, for me, it was a bunch of tropes. I did like the personality of Atlas, but the fact that they're scaling up 30-story buildings in their suits, I couldn't suspend disbelief.
They lost Rich with the suits.
Yeah, I mean...
All right, I get you.
I also thought it was a lost opportunity not to take a few seconds and have him hearken back to the face and the voice and go, when looking at the bars and go, wait a minute, did I sleepwalk that? So I thought they missed a couple of opportunities. And like you said, the opportunity, hey, could there be another superpowered being on the planet?
Yeah.
So
I think when we come up with these questions, or even like when we were talking about Divide and Conquer or the mysterious cube and kind of the moral question about whether Superman should take such a risk, to be clear, would I like a whole episode devoted to that? Sure, I would, but I wouldn't expect that of this show for kids in the 50s. But I just think to broach the topic, to introduce the idea or the question could have been valuable, even if the episode doesn't revolve around it. Just to kind of inject that, I think would have brought things up a bit.
And you know what? To give you a credit and compliment, when we looked at, what was it, Peril in Paris or something like that?
Yeah, season 5.
There was one episode where he sat down on a park bench, and you could see in his face, like, wait a minute, did I do something wrong? Did I contribute to a crime? They could have just done a minute, like, with a degree of puzzlement, like, or just like frame the question. And then listen, with the way they do this, they could have had a quick answer. No, I've got to protect my friends. That's the moral imperative.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, this was a lot of fun. As always, the podcast is off for the next 2 weeks. We're going to take just a short end of summer hiatus before we come back with the final 3 episodes. So we'll be off for the next 2 weeks, back on the 3rd week with The Brainy Burrow, which is the first of the final 3 episodes of the show, all directed by series star George Reeves. Our pal Zach Moore from Always Hold On to Smallville is going to join me for that. And then Rich is going to be back for the final 2 episodes of the series, The Perils of Superman and All That Glitters. So everyone, make sure you come back in 3 weeks for The Brainy Burrow. Until then, as always, only Superman can do super things. This podcast is an affiliate of BCW Supplies. The next time you need to restock on comic book bags, boards, boxes, and more, be sure to use promo code FSP to save 10% on your order. That's FSP for Flat Squirrel Productions. It helps support the show too. Thank you. Another way to support the show and receive exclusive content, including the spin-off podcast Beyond Metropolis, is by becoming a member at patreon.com/Anthony Desiato. My sincere thanks to all patrons. Please subscribe, rate, and review today via your podcast platform of choice, and continue the conversation by joining us on social media. Flat Squirrel Podcasts is also home to Digging for Kryptonite, a Superman fan journey, a long-running weekly series mining Superman's vast mythology across time and media. Subscribe today. Another exciting episode is a Flat Squirrel production. Key art by Greg Schiegel and theme music by Dan Pritchard.